we thought it would be good to have a catch up with you and sort of do a bit of an update. At the moment, with all of the raw shortages in China, there's a lot of very odd kit results coming in. So lots of strange blends and underdoses and all kinds of interesting things happening here in Australia. So I've been referring lots and lots and lots of people to send samples to you guys. So one of the first question I get is, how do I do that? I'm like, oh, I need a video that I can show people and go, this is the procedure for how you send a sample to Janoshik. Because I know that you guys are probably so busy that dealing with every single person individually must get really like flat out. So I thought it'd be good to have an instructional video on exactly what people need to do. And you can, yeah, we can direct people there.
Oh, well, first of all, thank you for referring people to us. It's indeed been pretty wild with all the switched up bros we've been seeing recently. You have no idea how much vitamin E and random analgesics we're getting.
Really? Vitamin E.
Yeah, vitamin E acetate. I think it's something we're seeing rather common being sold as anabolic steroids.
Now, what kind of products is that being put in?
Oh, it's being sold as testosterones, etc.
Jesus. I better get myself some vitamin E and test it in the kits because we've had some odd results. I'm like, I don't know what this is. So that
No,
may explain it.
yeah,
Wow.
it's just random pharmaceuticals. Vitamin E, we're seeing what is quinine, the malaria medicine,
Jesus.
antimalaric.
Yeah. Holy shit.
Yeah, diclofenac, of course, acetaminophen is a rather common one as well. Basically, if it's a white powder,
Yeah.
someone will try to sell it as steroids at this point of time.
Jesus. That's crazy. We saw one, this was a week or so ago. So someone showed us a raw that had come into the country that was supposed to be, it was supposed to be test C. I thought it was test D when I did the post, but it's actually test C. And it smelt very, very strong, super, super strong chemical smell. Like it hits you from across the room, like it's so strong. And it was powdery and it almost has a sweet smell, like, you know, when you open a packet cake mix,
Yeah,
it
yeah.
smelled like that, but with this really strong chemical thing as well. And it had these strange soft lumps in it. And we tested it, we couldn't get any reaction out of it. Nothing for sugar, for flour, for narcotics, for steroids. We couldn't get any reaction at all. They made it into oil, still couldn't get it to react. I'm like, I don't know what the hell this is. So we've sent it to one of the universities. So this is a little while ago. They've said it is test C raws, but there's an additional peak in there. They don't know what it is. It's something to do with the manufacturer that's been changed. And they don't know what the residue of whatever it is that's in it that's making it be
Yeah.
weird. So now we've had to send it off to a forensic laboratory. They're going to do a whole bunch of all sorts of different stuff on it to try and nail down exactly what it is because no one seems to know. So it was test C in the end, but contaminated with something. God knows what it is.
Well, if it's battery and Vaxi, we usually find it's either heavily degraded test C, or it might be just unbound ester. It's just
Yeah.
test C. It's just test with the fatty acid mixed in, and if there's an excess of the fatty acid, it just makes it look like that. Basically,
Mm.
it's oil being mixed with Ross, so it sort of
Yep.
turns into the butter.
Maybe that's it then. It'll be interesting to see what comes out of it because it's very strange.
Well, you could always
So
send it to us.
yeah, I might actually. I might send another sample to you guys as well. Um, so we actually want to do another research project soon. I should probably go over that at the end of this. So we're going to be doing a whole range of samples of peptides. That's the next thing. So yeah, we'll be looking at all sorts of stuff to do with that because there's some interesting shit going on in the peptide world as well. Are you seeing many swaps there?
Well, we do, but frankly, it's mostly, I don't blame malicious swaps most of the time. It's just random swaps. It's not like something is being swapped for a cheaper product.
Yeah.
Oftentimes, it's not like that. It's just the business is growing so fast and there's so many new people involved in everything that the switch ups they happen so just because
Yep.
they're honest mix-ups, etc. That's what we assume most of the stuff. Here and there, we see peptides, we see vials that contain no peptide whatsoever.
Yep.
Of course, if something is rare, the more rare something is, the higher the likelihood of it being, well, not quite what it's supposed to be, to put
Yep.
it
Yeah. So
diplomatically.
yeah, yeah, I can imagine it would be tempting to sell those expensive stuff and just have nothing in it.
Yeah, but generally, the vial manufacturing process and distribution, everything, and making a good looking vial with good normal looking content, the price difference between making a proper product and a fake product containing nothing, in most of the cases, the price difference is negligible.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
peptides, they're those in such small amounts that they are the cost of the actual peptide. It's not the major cost in the manufacture, in my opinion, as
Yeah.
far as I can tell.
Yeah. That makes sense. All right, cool.
So mostly, yeah.
That's all right. So tell us what's the procedure if someone decides I want to send a sample to Janoshik, what's the first thing they should do?
While actually, like you mentioned at the start of an interview, about us being bothered by a large amount of queries, it's no problem at all. Like half the people we employ, they just deal with the emails.
That's
So we
good.
have a dedicated mail team, and
Yep.
they try to guide every single client to for the best options for them. So the best thing if anyone wants to make an order is to mail us and let us know what exactly are they looking for and what is their preferred way of payment, where would they be shipping from, what sort of samples are they shipping. For example, if someone mails us and they let us know, hello, I'm from Australia and I strongly prefer paying by card or Apple Pay, Google Pay, bank transfer, crypto, we can deal with any of that. And I want to test two anabolic steroid oils, then we already know everything we need to know, and we can reply right away. Okay, so you proceed like this, and it saves up a lot of emails for us.
Okay, cool.
So
So in the
so
first
for
email,
the
they should tell you what they've got, how many they want to do, and yeah, what type it is, and how they want to pay, and then you can give them all the information they need.
yeah, exactly. Like the payment options, we try to add them all the time. But right now we do card payments, Apple Pay, Google Pay, bank transfers in Australian dollars as well. We offer that, and we do Bitcoin, USDT, and USDC. All
Oh,
of these
that's great.
payments, yeah, they work flawlessly for us. Of course, the crypto is the fastest. Those transfers are pretty much instant, but the card payments, they're rather fast too. It's just sometimes, for our clients abroad, their card providers, they block payments going to some weird
Yeah,
Eastern European country,
yeah,
but we can usually deal with that. We have a good relationship with our bank, so they usually just try to contact the other side, and they're, no, these guys are legit. Don't worry about it.
yeah.
It's not some Eastern European hacker stealing cards.
I think the
So
last
it
time
usually works out as
I
well.
bought sent some stuff to you for analysis, I had my bank call me and go, what's this? I'm like, yeah, it's fine. And
Yeah,
yeah, it was
yeah,
sorted.
exactly. They
Yeah,
do that a lot. They still do that a lot because for many people, it's the first payment abroad in a while or
yeah,
ever. So, but our bank, they're behind us in everything, so they help to deal with us. With crypto, we also like the fact that we can get a separate address for every Bitcoin payment, so we know exactly who paid and what. With
oh,
credit
yeah,
card, or bank transfers, a lot of people they forget they need to include a quote number, the quote we gave them.
yes,
And if they don't give us the quote number, we have to look up. Okay, so we have these 20 orders open. We received these 15 payments, and we have to sort of pair them up, which takes some time, and it
yeah,
gets
yeah,
pretty difficult. We're
yeah,
at roughly 2,000, 3,000 payments a month. So
yeah.
some
It gets
sometimes the
frantic
people
figuring
they
that out. Yeah.
exactly.
Yep.
I believe you get experience as well.
Oh yeah. We do a lot of orders through PayPal because our website, we have to use there's only one payment provider worldwide that will allow us to take payments in Australia for a website that mentions drug names. There's only one payment provider and it has stupidly high fraud protection and it just doesn't like a lot of cards for no reason, just it just won't let the payment go through. So we do a lot of orders that through PayPal instead, just to get around that. And then yeah, I always have to go through and go, right, was this an order that was on the website that didn't go through and I can connect that there, or was it just through an email and connect them all up and make
Yeah.
sure I don't miss anyone? Yeah.
Yeah, we had to do a great deal of convincing the bank, to let us do card payments unlimited because we get a lot of payments.
Yep.
And they were like, okay, but you're dealing with research chemicals. And yeah, we're research lab. Okay, but why do you need credit card payments? Because we want to receive money. And
Mm.
okay, so how do we know you're legitimate? Okay, here you have a Czech customs, you have Czech universities, we cooperate, we got people from Erasmus come in here. And then after a while, they were like, okay, can you please give us all your tax documents? Yes, of course.
It's a
And
lot
after
of
a while,
hoops to
they
jump
rented.
through.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. It took a while for us to be able to take cards, but it works pretty
Yeah.
well now. A lot of our
If we were
clients
in
can
the
basically.
US, it'd be a lot easier for us, but Australia is very behind with a lot of this stuff. So we're very limited in our options of what we're allowed to do.
Oh yeah, in Europe they love regulations as well, so it's rather difficult.
Yep.
But it works well now. The crypto works well too, as always.
Yep.
There's been it's been rather without any issue. Sometimes we get someone transfer USDT on wrong chain, like
Yeah.
there's different chains and everything. And but it's been rather rare occasions, so the payments they're pretty okay.
Yep.
Then after the client lets us know what they need tested, we let them know the payment details, we give them a quote, we give them payment details, and after they pay and we confirm the receipt of payment, we deal with the packaging of the samples. We try to, for example, if someone is sending oil, it depends. For some people, they might want to send the full unopened vial because they need to prove something. For example, we didn't temper that they didn't temper the vial, but really, we only need half a milliliter of the sample. We need just the tiny amount of the oil.
Yep. So
So
half a mil is plenty.
yeah, that's
Yep.
plenty for us. For
Yep.
that let us do a couple of dozen tests. Actually, we use 0.02 milliliters for each round of tests, and that's with a duplicate just to make sure we didn't screw anything up.
Yep.
And so you can just use the tiny 1 milliliter, 2 milliliter vials, just the tiny vial like this, or even smaller. It's plenty
Yep.
enough.
We have them for
We
sale
we
on our website, empty packs of 5. So if anyone needs them to send samples, they can just because we've got boxes and boxes of them, so we sell empty ones of those as well.
Yeah, they're perfect. They're perfect. So you don't need to ship out a lot of the sample, so you don't lose the sample. And generally, if it breaks, it's there is no
Drama, like
mess.
yeah.
And the smaller the vial is, the less chance it breaks actually in the transit. So we like them the smallest possible. But of course, as I said, anyone can ship the original vials as well. Then for raw powders, we need just a couple of milligrams in a Ziploc bag. The Ziploc bags, the smaller, the better, as it's easier to scoop the powder out.
Yep.
And uh, if you can, we prefer 20 to 30 milligrams at least. Uh,
So like 2 tablets would be plenty.
Yeah, for
Oh,
tablets, if you
yep.
want just one tested, it's best if you send one or two extra, just in case it sometimes happens during the transit, the tablet breaks, or sometimes something doesn't go too well in the lab, so we want to try the other tab. So
Yep.
if you want to have 5 tablets tested, I suggest you send 7 or 8, just so that we have a couple extra as buffer. And you put them in a Ziploc bag. Maybe if they're really fragile, some manufacturers they make the tablets like if you look at them wrong, they just fall apart.
Yeah. So separate bags for
So
each one sort of thing to keep them from
or
raw.
you can add some sort of cotton padding
Oh
if they're
yeah,
like
yeah.
that. And that's about it. Well, if you have some special sort of sample, like there's testosterone gels they making a resurgence. So my team will guide you how to best package it and ship it for us. The most important thing is that the sample doesn't break and doesn't leak. That's the general gist of it all. And then you package it and you ship it to us from Australia. DHL works the best generally, or FedEx. UPS can be okay too, but they'll require a lot of paperwork, I hear. But
It can be
yeah,
tempting to send it through Ozpost because it's a lot cheaper, but then you're going to have issues with customs, aren't you?
well, not really issues. The local customs, we got the permits for everything, but the local customs at the post office, the FedEx, DHL, and UPS, they use different custom
Yeah.
procedures. But
Yeah.
the regular post, they got a lot of packages, so it takes a week until they put all our packages aside as scheduled compounds, and they take after a week they write official request. Are we permitted to release the scheduled compounds to the company Janoshik Limited? And then some government agency says after a couple of days they check their email and they write, yes, of course, same as the past 1,500 times.
Yep.
Then, in a
Yep.
couple of days, in a week, they read the mail and okay, we may release this now. Please send an email to the post office that they can send it.
That
So,
takes
and
a
this
lot
whole
longer.
procedure, yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And the best thing is they charge us for this. They charge us
Ah,
extra.
they charge. Yeah.
So, so if someone sends the regular post right now, not only that it takes significantly longer. We need to pay the customs for this process for them asking the government agencies,
Yeah.
uh, because they have a different process at the regular post. So we have to pay rough between $40 to $70 for that. So we just charge $70 for our clients to cover the fees.
Yeah.
So the
Yeah.
regular mail is the worst possible option right now.
Then you may as well just
Uh,
pay the extra for FedEx or DHL and just get it through and it's fine.
yeah,
Yeah.
ultimately it ends up cheaper if you use a small envelope, which is usually enough for the samples.
Yep.
It's cheaper with the than the regular mail with the additional fees, and it's much faster. Sometimes we get a sample within 48 hours, and if you're lucky, you send out samples Monday, and you get your results by Wednesday
Oh, that'd be
from
cool.
Australia.
That's
Yeah,
great. Yeah.
if you're lucky, it's more usual would be Friday or next Monday, but we try our best to make it as smooth and fast as possible.
That's fantastic. That's really good turnaround.
Yeah, we do our best, and I really wish I could show you the camera from our lab. There's like people running around. There's a lot of people now,
We should do that
but
sometime. We should do like a video walkthrough of your lab just to show people what it's like.
yeah, I wanted to do that sometimes actually. I even bought the phone stabilizer. I don't know
Yep.
where it is, but so I can go around with the phone and just show people around the regular day at
Be really
work.
cool. If you do that sometime, send it to me. I'll pop it up on our thing so that people can see it. That'd be great.
Well, well, will do. Uh,
All right. So
yeah,
let's say someone's sent the samples to you, there's a week turnaround, something like that. So the main kind of analyses people are going to do for a steroid, for example, are HPLC with you, correct?
yeah. Wash terrace HPLC is our go-to. It's a technique we have the most methods developed for, and we're most familiar with.
Yeah.
We usually do confirm our results with a quick GCMS. And if someone wants more in-depth results, we can of course provide the GCMS as well, which works
Yep.
very well for most of the steroids too.
Yep.
We also have LCMS. and a lot of other stuff, but generally for steroids, nothing other than HPLC and GCMF is not necessary.
And you can
We
advise
also
people when
can
they
do heavy
email
metal
you.
analysis, which we do the
Yep. You give people advice on which one they should pick depending on what they're looking
well
for.
one well usually they're looking for which steroid is in their sample and how much of it. So we just let them know it's this test. We don't really tell them which technique we use, because it's simply not really necessary for the people. But if they're like, okay, I'm really worried about some sort of contaminate in there, so okay, we can do GCMS screening, which is a method that identifies all volatile or tries to identify all volatile or semi-volatile chemical compounds in your sample, and it names them. So you get a nice paper that says benzyl alcohol, um, there's benzyl benzoate, there's testosterone cypionate, etc. I just want to show you an example. I will post it to the chat here for later on. How the GCMS looks.
Okay.
It reads benzyl alcohol, benzyl benzoate, and you see the screen. It lists the compounds, and then you can see a huge amount of trenbolone and enanthate, which is the sort that interests people.
Yep.
So people see there's also fatty acids, there's some impurities from trembolone present. So if people are interested in the contaminant screening, they can get the GCMS. If they worry about heavy metals, we can do a heavy metal screening for the most common heavy metals like cadmium, lead, mercury, and arsenic.
You were talking about you can test the sterility of stuff.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But we need the oil in the original sealed vial for that, because uh, if you put it into the smaller container and stuff
Added in bacteria.
to it. So, but we can do that. It's generally not a problem with oils. It's Yeah, it's more of an issue with peptides, because many
Mm.
manufacturers they don't really bother with sterile procedures, but there's not really too many bacteria or yeast and molds that can survive the oil with benzyl alcohol in there. So it's not a big problem with oils, but we see a positive here and there where there's something disgusting growing in the petri dishes.
Oh, that's cool because I didn't know that you guys did the bacteria stuff. So that's really cool.
Oh, well, I should have brought some petri dishes with stuff growing on them just so I can
That
show
would
it
be
on
cool to see.
camera. But yeah, I'll try to get a picture to you. It's
That would be
over the
awesome.
mail. I'll try to find something truly disgusting that we have growing.
Yes, please. I'd love to
Okay.
see it. That'd be great.
And
Yeah. So I've always wondered with
yeah,
peptides how much of an issue
that's
that would
about it.
be. Hmm.
Well, generally, well, everything you inject should be sterile, of course.
Yeah.
But generally, the bacterial contamination, it's generally just some ever-present bacteria like Serratia, macrurrescens, or something like that. You have that reddish stuff when you don't wash your shower for too long. There's
Hmm.
this reddish stuff. Uh,
Yeah.
so this is Serratia bacterium, which is ever-present. And that's basically what we find in the peptides the most, because it's a very resilient bacterium. It grows anywhere, it survives a lot, and you can find it in the peptides. But ultimately, the likelihood of it causing issues, like you don't die for exposure in your shower. So the likelihood that you will get major issues from it are not really big. And the peptides, they're not used intravenously or intramuscularly, they're used subcutaneously, which again is a pretty resilient method of administration. Like, again, if you get a cut in your shower, you don't really die from that, right? So even if the peptides are contaminated by some commonplace bacterium, it's usually not flesh-eating stuff or something like that. So it might cause some annoying redness, swelling, itching, but
Yeah.
generally it doesn't pose any issue to healthy people.
How often are you seeing things like steroids at raw stuff degraded? How long does it take a raw to degrade?
Well, it varies a lot. It depends on the manufacture conditions. Like, for example, if you have test C that is very pure and it doesn't degrade that much to start with. But if you got test C that's contaminated with the fatty acids, like we talked at the beginning, to start with, it does degrade, it does appear to degrade a whole lot faster. So generally, if you have two raws, uh, they might degrade at wildly varying rates. So generally they're pretty stable, but with the recent developments of there being a lot of lower quality raws, and God knows how old are the raws that we're seeing. They might
Yeah,
be just the from the back of the warehouse to put it because the manufacturing it dried up.
the stuff they've swept off the
So
floor. Yeah.
exactly. So it's difficult for us to tell. We're not really doing it, but usually I would say that the raws they last years,
Okay.
especially
Yeah.
if well stored and if made in high quality to start with,
Yeah.
then they can last years. A lot of the less common raws, they're just someone somewhere makes a 200 kilo batch once. For example, for anastrozole or letrozole, which are dosed in milligrams, like 1 milligram. And that batch, it lasts, I wouldn't be surprised if it lasted half a decade or more.
Jesus. That's, yeah,
Yeah.
scary thought. Hmm.
Well, if stored properly, it's not really an issue, but
Bet most of them
oftentimes,
aren't storing it very well, though, I would guess.
yeah.
Yeah. Hmm. Interesting. Um, Are there any particular labs that you would say do not send your samples to? Every now and then I get people to say, oh, I'm going to send it to a lab in China or one in America or whatever. Are there any that people should not be sending stuff to?
Oh, we actually absolutely love when people send their stuff to other labs. I would strongly suggest they do it blind. Like, don't tell the lab what it's supposed to be, how much of something is supposed to be.
Yeah,
And it's the best if you, for example, send in some unusual concentration, because if you send test E, and if they slap 250 milligrams on it, they have a rather good chance of it being on target. But if
yeah,
you dilute it by 20% with oil and they still slap the 250 milligrams on it, you know something is off.
yeah.
Because generally, a lot of labs seem to have a great amount of trouble with samples that are not labeled, that when the results don't fit the label. In short, most of the labs in this industry are outright faking the results.
I knew that like the manufacturer's results they give people like aren't worth the paper they're written on. It could just, print off any old thing, really. Like I can make you a lab bloody result in 2 minutes using, Canva. So I always tell people don't trust any result unless it's something you've sent away yourself or has had been analyzed by an independent place sent by an independent person. When I used to do a lot of analysis back in my last career, it was always blind. You'd never say what something was. At most, you'd say if something was going to be really high dosed, you'd warn them so the calibrations could be sort of done right. But otherwise, you wouldn't give the lab any idea what it was. Because there's so many of them, even proper, you know, really good labs would every now and then just fuck it up.
Yeah. Yeah. We have, well, for this reason, we offer blind common anabolic steroid analysis, which has pretty much all common anabolic steroids. We test for them outright. We don't need anything else to know. If you send something rare outside of things like methyltrenbolone or methylstenbolone, if it's really rare, we need to know. We simply cannot test for any possible steroid outright for the costs
Yeah.
or for the price we offer. But for the common ones, we just do the blind test outright. We don't need to know, we don't want to know, and we generally don't want you to tell us
Yeah.
because that way the results they cannot be skewed by anything. And we really love the people when they use different labs and they again they send them the samples blind or mislabeled. We get a lot of those.
Yeah.
Uh just people trying to verify that we're doing the work well. and we're usually passing with flying colors. So we're really happy about it. And if you take a look at how other labs fare,
Mm.
well, I'm really happy to say that there's a reason that people keep using us.
Yeah.
I
I
like to
think out
think
of all
so,
the
at
ones I've
least.
heard of, you're the only guys that I would trust. I'm going to send a sample overseas. I wouldn't be sending it anywhere else. That's for sure.
Yeah, well, we've been doing this for almost 1.5 decade. So people know that we're not really affiliated with anyone at this point because we lasted mo much longer than most of our clients.
Yeah, exactly.
Uh,
Yep.
uh, and we got on our website, we got the official government paperwork, we got all the paperwork. Most of the labs, they don't have permit to work with this sort of compound, so they're doing it illegally. If someone is already doing this illegally, it kind of um doesn't shed a good light on the on their you cannot hold them accountable for the
Yeah.
results. Oh,
Yep.
we're a regular company. We can be held accountable. We need to verify what we are checked by the government agencies about how we proceed with the samples. We can just screw around and slap some sort of number on a paper. We need to be able to defend those results. We are the largest importer of scheduled chemicals of this sort, anabolic steroids in Europe, the
Yep.
legal one, the legal importer. And the customs and everything, like that, if we were associated with anyone, or were just putting off random results, they would really take a bite at us. They don't
Yep.
really like what we're doing, but we got all the paperwork, so they can't help but to let us be.
Fair enough too. How often do you think people should be sending stuff for analysis?
Well, that depends on them. Well, it's everyone's personal choice. If they want to have something tested, we'll be happy to do that for them. And that's about it. I don't really have an opinion on what people should do. We just hope they order from us, and we give them the proper result, and we get paid for it.
Yep. We would ideally want people to be able to test one of every batch of every different type of product each time they buy. In an ideal world, you would want, if you buy 10 vials of test E, you would have at least one of those analyzed every time you buy. Of course, that's hard for a lot of people to do. So we say just do as much as you can. So you can use test kits to monitor for changes in between, but you should test at the beginning. When you start with a brand, you should get it analyzed. And as you go, as soon as there's any change, get it analyzed again. And just you should be checking this stuff as you go. And then you can get yourself a good data set showing how things change over time. And as soon as there's any variation, you need to get it analyzed to check, even if it's just dosage or whatever, but you should be getting it checked. So unfortunately in Australia, there's not a lot of well, there's nowhere at the moment where you can get steroids analyzed. So Janoshik is our option. That's what we have. So yeah,
Yeah, it's rather difficult. In most of the countries, Australia included, as far as I know, there's just no real way to set up such a lab to operate within the legal boundaries.
yeah.
Uh,
And
it's the
even the
same in the
ones that
US.
have been able to do it. So in Queensland, for example, there was a steroid checking trial that happened. Even when they can, they aren't able to test for everything. They only have standards to be able to check dosages for a certain number of things. So there's always going to be, items that they can't analyze that probably do need to get sent to you as well.
Yeah, well, it did take us a decade and a half to get all the standards for all the stuff we test.
I can imagine.
And
There's a
yeah, yeah,
lot.
yeah. It's been a rather difficult journey. And when a new lab set it up, they simply don't have that. So they're entering into an uneven competition.
Yeah, exactly. Ideally, we would love pill testing facilities in Australia to also be able to take steroids, but it's an uphill battle. It's going to be, oh, years and years and years before any of that sort of thing can happen here. So we'll continue working with you
Uh,
guys until there's another option
well,
here, but I don't think there's going to be anytime soon.
yeah, I'm happy to hear that. And I believe we're as cheap as we may be with it's the economies of scale. Like if we test 600 testosterone cypionate samples a year, then the cost per sample is going to be much lower than for someone who tests seven of them.
Yep.
Uh, so in the end, I think we can be much cheaper than anyone who would wish to compete. So
Yep.
for us, we're trying to make the process as smooth as possible for the clients, and we're trying to figure even the Australia Post problem so that people from anywhere in the world, especially Australia, can simply ship the vials in a small box via post office, and we will help with that so we can make it as cheap and smooth as possible. So
Yep.
there's no need for a local lab anymore. We just
And I
want a
know also
global hegemony.
we've had like the forensic lab that we have used for some of our studies, their costs are on par with yours. So if anyone complains about cost, it's on par. Like you're definitely not ripping anybody off. It's the same as what other labs would charge anyway. So, you know, say la vie.
Yeah, we're just trying to do a good job and make a living. And now I have 30 employees to take care of. So
Yep. It's great. I'm glad to hear you guys are expanding and doing well. It's fantastic. And I still plan to come over and visit.
yeah, I mean the international airport, it's like 30-minute drive that way. So it's really close from Prague International Airport. We already had quite a few people come here.
Oh,
Unfortunately, we can't have a beer at work, but we usually figure it out after hours.
yeah, well, maybe one of these days we will do that. I'll come over and say hi. All right. Well, thank you so much for having a chat. Is there anything else you want to add before we finish up?
Oh, I think everything's been said. The most important recent development is the fake rolls everywhere, all the
Yeah.
time, replaced with absolutely random pharmaceuticals like vitamin E, the quinine, the antimalaric. It's been a pretty interesting one.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Diclofenac and yeah, acetaminophen is always up there. We've been seeing that over the years, but never as much as we're seeing right now. And I would just say, if for the people, if you get a role like that, I really suggest getting it checked because if something doesn't adapt, it feels different than before, it smells different than before.
Yep.
The likelihood of it being something different is really high at these times. Like in the past couple of months, the market collapsed. Like there's so many fake. We've never seen as many fake raws before as we're seeing now.
Yep.
Like a good half of all raw material we're getting now are complete fakes.
Jesus.
There's no hormone in there.
A lot worse than what I expected. Like we're seeing it definitely in like kit results. It used to be maybe 15% of all oils would be swapped. Was it 15, 20%, something like that? And it's rocketed up to about 40. Of course, there's a lot of old stock still disappearing out of the market, but yeah, we're seeing a rapid change. It's quite scary.
Yeah, and we're seeing even it getting through the manufacturing process. Like some lab gets vitamin E instead of test, but vitamin E acetate it dissolves in the oil as well. So out of nowhere, we're seeing oils with a whole lot of vitamin E in it and no hormone,
Isn't
and
that
we're
dangerous?
like,
No, I'm thinking of vitamin A. Sorry, no, vitamin A is dangerous if you take too much. But I don't know if vitamin E is dangerous if you take too much.
oh, all fat soluble vitamins can be dangerous, but vitamin E is rather safe, thank God.
God.
But yeah, it can pose issues in the long term. So
Yeah. Wow. There you
yeah,
go. Scary
so
thought.
there's a lot of labs. Yeah, there's a lot of labs that don't even check the raws they get.
Yeah.
Uh, or we're seeing like an interesting thing we see is there's oil, they get it raw, and it doesn't dissolve because it's not what it's supposed to be. So they start adding super solvents like guaiacol, if I'm pronouncing it right. You know that one, right?
Yeah.
And they
Ooh,
keep adding it until they dissolve it. So we're seeing oil with an acetaminophen, which is rather crazy.
that is crazy.
So yeah, so there's labs and people
Ugh.
that they get raw. It doesn't behave like it should, which should raise a red flag for them. But they just sort of power through it with the super solvent, and then
Yeah.
we're seeing oils with really interesting stuff dissolve, the stuff that shouldn't even dissolve
Oh,
in the
nasty.
oil, but
Yeah.
they just force it through.
Ugh. Yuck. Well,
Yes.
hopefully the industry will improve at some point soon because it's looking a bit dire at the moment.
Yeah, it does. It does. There's desperate people all around. We get a lot of desperate mails from people wanting, hoping that we would suggest anybody, which we
Yeah,
cannot do. Even if we knew someone who sold some good stuff, I felt it would be very insanely inappropriate for a testing lab to recommend anyone or sell
exactly.
anything. So
Yeah, we don't recommend
if
anything
anyone says,
either. It's like
yeah,
you just can't do it.
it's a slippery slope and makes you legally responsible as well.
Yep,
So you don't really
exactly.
want to do that. And we don't. Although there's always once in a while someone tries like Janoshik approved, Janoshik recommended, or Janoshik peptides. We've seen someone try to make up like we're selling peptides.
No.
We yeah, we had their website taken down within like 3 hours, which is a new
Yeah,
record. So
yeah. Jesus.
uh yeah. Well, it'd be like that. It just people want to abuse. People want to send product they will abuse anyway. They can
Yep,
do it.
exactly. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you very much. This has been
Okay.
great.
Thank you very much too, and I'm hoping to see you around sometime.
Yes.
It's been a pleasure.